Hey there YouTube, this is SGM4306 and back with another quick video. So I've been doing like a lot of, video editing and whatnot, and I've been shooting in HD and it takes up quite a bit of memory. So here you can see on my desktop computer, I have two drives here. One is the SSD, I use this as the boot drive, and I only got a 120 gig. That's sufficient for, just the operating system and a handful of applications. Everything else goes on this secondary drive here, which is a 500 gig, 7200 RPM, 2.5-inch hard drive. And this has been serving me pretty well, but as you can see, I'm kind of running out of capacity, so I wanted to upgrade. So that brings me to this guy here, and this guy is a Seagate, what is this? A Backup Plus, Backup Plus portable drive, and this guy is 2 terabytes. And I got this on sale at Staples, I believe. And this is actually probably maybe the cheapest way to get a 2 terabyte drive, at least with the sale price that I got. And so you can see that this is pretty thin. This is about a little over 12 millimeters, and the internal drive is 9.5 millimeters, so it'll fit just fine. The only thing is this is a 5400 RPM drive, so this is going to have longer seek times than the drive I have internally, but I think that's a small price to pay for having 4 times the capacity. So let's crack this guy open. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the hairdryer and just heat this guy up. There's some adhesive basically all along the edges. I'm going to heat this up so I can soften the glue, and then we're going to get in here and pry. So I'll be back in a second after I dry the hair on this guy. So just blasted this with the hairdryer. So you know the saying, you got to strike while the hard drive's still hot. So what we are going to do is pry towards this bottom end of the hard drive here, away from the dock connector, because the plastic tabs that are holding this entire top piece on are pretty weak on the top portion. So we are going to create a slight gap in the top portion here with our pry tool. And just pry out the metal just slightly, and you can see it's starting to give way here. So before you do this mod, well, not really mod, but extraction of the drive, you're going to want to test the drive to make sure that it works and everything, because obviously by opening this drive, we are avoiding the warranty. So there are 2 catches on the bottom here. And then I believe there are 3 or 4 along the sides. So I'm going to try to reuse this drive, so try to do as least possible damage. I left the outer trim on so I don't scratch the plastic too badly. So let me work on this for a couple minutes, and I'll get back to you guys once I get the top off. Okay, that was pretty quick. So all I did was I got the bottom off first. Released the 2 clips, and then I just went along one side with the hairdryer back and forth for about a minute until it got pretty warm, and I worked this pry tool, and this is starting to kind of get pretty beat up. Now I worked it in, and there are basically 3 clips on the side here where the metal actually clips into the plastic, and I worked each one of those off, and then I went on the other side, reheated that, work those 3 off, and then it sort of cantilevers like this. And so all we have to do is sort of try to push it straight forward there, and a little bit of wiggling ought to do it as well. Might be necessary to reheat this. I believe there is a strip of adhesive at the top here, so let me do that real quick. Yep, that did the trick. All I had to do is reheat this, and it popped right off. And you can see there's basically no warping of this panel. I was able to get this off fairly easily, and you can see those glue strips that I was talking about. And that's it. I mean, this will go back on pretty much as is. I mean, I just got to clean off. I left a bunch of the blue plastic from this pry tool. But other than that, she's pretty clean, pretty pristine. So I can definitely reuse this case, and you can see the internal drive here. And this is a Seagate. I've seen other people do similar drives and they ended up being Samsung drives, but nope, this is a Seagate mobile hard drive, 2 terabyte. And let's see, yeah, 5 volts at an amp. That's about kind of regular. And any other, yeah, that's about it. That's all the information it gives you, just different certifications and whatnot, and the model number here. Anyway, so yeah, let's pop this guy out very carefully, and there we go. And to fix this focus, geez. So yeah, you can see all that's in the bottom case. There's some little rubber foam pads basically at the bottom there to give a little bit of shock resistance, and then some larger ones on the top, as well as a RFI shielding plate here. That's rather interesting. Anyway, so other than that, you can see all the tabs that I was talking about. These two up here, the reason why I did not start prying from the port side is that these plastic tabs have a tendency to break easier than the ones on the sides or on the bottom. So that was basically the least destructive way I could take this guy apart, I found online, was to start from that side. So let's start peeling this tape up. Let me get a pocket knife. Got the handy dandy official SGM 4306 pocket knife now. Just gonna lift the tape off. This guy's a dull knife. It's not gonna scratch anything. And there we go. I want to keep this so that I can shove a new drive in here, because I do intend to use this enclosure. It's a nice enclosure. I like it. It's slim. It does the job. USB 3.0, which is definitely a plus. If you guys are interested, basically before this process I did a surface scan of the hard drive, make sure everything works, and I also transferred all my data from the original drive to this guy, which took quite a while actually. I had nearly 500 gigabytes. I just left it on for a couple hours. And to remove this guy, you just carefully, very carefully, you can get your fingernail in here or a thin blade and very carefully separate it. If you give it a little twist, you can get this started. You don't want to pull from the sides or you could risk damaging the connector or the board itself. So we are going to be gentle because we want to use this drive as well as the board itself. There we go. And she'll start to go. And there we go. So it's just standard SATA drive. You got to be careful. So some of the external hard drives that you see around, like I think the Toshiba, some of the Toshiba Canvio drives, as well as the Western Digital My Passports now, actually don't have a separate SATA drive. They have the USB bridge directly on the main board, and it's not removable, and you cannot use it as a standard SATA drive. I did some research, and this is a drive that you can do this on. Obviously, this is a standard SATA connector. So this is useful for me because, you know, I can actually take the drive out and stick it in my desktop computer. Ooh, nice and shiny. Anyway, yeah, you know, I'm not doing a teardown of this, but basically this is a brushless motor. You can see the nice contacts. That's pretty cool. Goes under there. The driver board for this is actually really small. I'm surprised. Usually they take up, you know, quite a bit of the surface area of the drive. This one's pretty tiny. And yeah, you can see she's nice and thin at 9.5 millimeters there. Not sure how many platters this has, and I definitely will not be opening this guy up. But we're going to stick this guy into my desktop now, and I guess I could show you guys that. Sorry about the lighting situation. I do not have nearly enough room on my desk, and I had to move my monitor over to get access to my CPU. And then I had to open up the case, and there are parts all over the place. But anyway, I got the main part out here. So these are my hard drives. So I have this adapter here, and this is basically a laptop DVD adapter that will accept a SATA hard drive. And you can see I have an SSD in here. And it just has, like, you know, the standard laptop SATA style adapter. And here's my mechanical drive. So all we got to do is remove these 4 screws, pull out the old drive, and stick the new one in. So let's do that real quick. Unfortunately, I'm kind of trading capacity for speed. Yeah, this drive's not going to be quite as fast as this guy here. This guy's an HGST, 500 gigabyte, and you can see right there, 7,200 RPM. This guy actually uses less current. It's 800 milliamps versus 1 amp. Not really that much, but I mean, look at the capacity difference. I believe, let's see. Yeah, they're the same thickness, so, I mean, it's not like it's going to take up any more room. It's just going to give me a lot more room. So yeah, let's just put it back in. They're like rubber mounts for kind of compliant mounts so that it has some shock protection, albeit not, very much, but better than nothing. And there we go. 4 screws are in. We are ready to plug in. And so here we are. You can see here, now I have my local disk D is 1.39 terabytes free of 1.81, which is the formatted capacity. So there we go. Now I have lots and lots and lots of free space. And I hear some of you say, well, what did you do with the drive enclosure and whatnot? So I took the other drive that was in there and I stuck it back in the original enclosure, and you can see. So yeah, you can see here the way that I took it apart, there's basically no damage, like, at all. It's kind of tough to see that this has even been opened. There's a little bit of a gap down here, but if I reheat this with the hair dryer and kind of repress the adhesive in, that'll disappear. So yeah, this looks pretty much stock, and now this is a 500 gigabyte drive, the original, the 7,200 RPM drive. With USB 3.0, so I can use this as another backup drive while enjoying the increased capacity, the 2 terabytes now in my desktop computer. And this is the tower itself. I've put the new DVD drive bezel in there, so it fills it pretty nicely now. And you can see I actually did LED mods to change the color of the different indicators in the power switch. All these were originally blue. I just kind of got bored and I wanted to change the color. Anyway, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, if you guys are interested in maybe upgrading your PS3 or Xbox 360 or laptop or desktop or whatever, this is actually a pretty cheap way of doing it. Yeah, I think these retail for the 2 terabyte version retails for maybe $110, something like that, maybe $120, but I got this on sale. I think they're running a deal for about $60 or $70 at Staples. Not sure, probably still not valid. However, yeah, I had a gift card also, so I ended up only spending like 20 bucks for this guy. So all in all, awesome upgrade and very cheap way of doing this. I'm very happy. So now I can stick lots and lots of high definition video on my hard drive, awaiting editing for uploading onto my channel. So hopefully you guys like this random ramble / video. And if you have any questions, post questions down below, comments, whatever, likes, dislikes, and I'll see you guys later.